The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint and Fanatics of Ocean City, celebrating 25 years at the Jersey Shore. And also brought to you by Maxima Fishing Line.
I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine here at the Boatworks at Tuckerton Seaport Museum in Tuckerton, New Jersey. One of the places here at Perrines or Perrins, depending on how you want to say it. A couple of different ways, but this is where some of the sneak boxes and garvies are still traditionally made. A good opportunity for you to come check it out. There's a boat show here at the Seaport this Saturday. Of course, I know the big story about Saturday. It's the opening day of summer flounder season here in New Jersey. Everybody's been chomping at the bit for the fluke opener on Saturday. However, I will tell you this, as of the middle of this week, the weather forecast for Saturday from Lewis, Delaware, all the way up to Sandy Hook, into Newton, I'm looking all over to try to find less than a 100% chance of rain showers on Saturday. I can't find it. So keep an eye on the weather. It does look like it's going to be a snotty Saturday. East-northeast winds expected to be about 20 miles an hour as well. So if you get that opportunity to try to find something indoors, you have Sunday. Don't worry about it. Sunday we've got a much better weather forecast, but I will tell you this. The opening day fluke tournament that Absecon Bay Sportsman Center was going to hold, the Take It to the Limit opening day fluke tournament for Saturday, has been postponed until the following Saturday, May 28th. That, of course, is done to help support the Save the Summer Flounder Fishery Fund. So David Absecon Bay got together with SSFFF and RFA and decided we're going to hold that tournament on the Saturday of Memorial Day. Don't forget, I mentioned RFA because Yamaha Outboards is giving a $1,000 bounty in that contest for the RFA member catching the biggest fluke. So don't forget, that tournament is going to be held next Saturday, May 28th. So east-northeast through Saturday, blowing north on Sunday. You want to plan your drifts accordingly. You don't have to head out to the reef sites depending on the wind and rain anyway. And if you look at the tides, high tide in Atlantic City on Saturday, 8 a.m., Sunday, 8:36. So you do have a little bit of a good condition if you want to catch that morning tide, that outgoing, and you've got that north wind by Sunday, of course, helping you with your drift. Outside of the fluke, and everything's going to catch fire with fluke, we'll expect some big reports next week, but the big striped bass are here along the Central Coast. We just found out earlier this week, Rob Matthews of Fisherman's Den reported that Captain Eric Kerber of On a Mission Charters, he headed south out of the inlet off of Ocean County, found the big stripers. Nick Alphonse of Hamilton live-lined a 52. Another 50-pound bass comes through, and I'm wondering if Seaside is going to be the place to be from now through parts of June, just like we've had in past years where those bunker get locked in there right off of Seaside, and the stripers, the big ones, start pouring all over them. So it's not just the live lining, though. The live line bite is good, but if you can't find those hot schools or you're not having luck with the live lining, make sure you know to turn to the spoons. I mean, the Tony Maja bunker spoons are working. They work for Anthony Arcabasio Jr., who was out earlier this week, picked up this 45-pounder on one of Dad's bunker spoons. That was right outside of Barnegat Inlet. Now, maybe we've been following these fish in the last couple of weeks. If you've watched the video, a few weeks ago we were talking about Cape May County and that initial bite off of Atlantic City. Last week we talked about a good striper run along Long Beach Island. And now, of course, off of Seaside, big fish moving north along the coast. So keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on the reports. Keep checking in with thefisherman.com and here on our fishing reports, because it's likely those big fish continue to move up the coast. And again, I'm still pretty confident about a June run like we used to see a few years ago. Now, checking in with the tackle shops on Sunday when we are doing the reports, you know, that big Governor's Cup happened in Island Beach State Park on Sunday, and checking with Grumpy's and Betty and Nick's and Doc Outfitters, a lot of folks reporting on a good mess of fish as of Sunday. Really turned on. Several 30-pound fish were caught. And of course, congratulations goes out to Dakota Hahn of Tom's River, who had a 43.5-inch striper to win the Governor's Cup on Sunday. He gets his name on that perpetual trophy, and it'll be in there for forever. You know, the Governor's Cup is a perpetual trophy, so that continues on. So continue to chase those fish north and keep your eye on them. I will say this, speaking of Seaside and Grumpy's, longtime Grumpy's friendly face, hardcore angler and just such a great guy, Mike Malik, passed away after a very long, brave, hard battle with cancer this past week. A major loss to the surf community and for everybody. Our condolences go out So many folks knew Mike, and Mike, you kept up a good fight. We're sorry to see you go. Just way too young, way too young. Our condolences to the Grumpy's family as well. Now, as far as our next generation of anglers, we keep talking about the next gen. This next generation of anglers, they've been out banging on these bluefish. So the bluefish are still out there. Eric Fleischman this week was at Union Beach, had a bunch of fish from 7 to 12 pounds. He released them all. So there's that good bluefish bite is there. Kaden Michalski was another Governor's Cup fish from Island Beach State Park this week. It was a 36-incher. And then Kaden here, he took the Governor's Cup Youth Division for that tournament. Remember Sam Adams from last year, the little 41-pound kid with the 42-pound striper on the beach in Long Beach Island? He's been out in the bluefish as well, out there with his grandfather hitting the bluefish on Long Beach Island. Now, Captain Anthony Grassi of Fin Chaser Charters, he passes this along, and this is a good thought. He said, get your kids a skiff and watch that X-box disappear. Good sign. Skiffs are where it's out. Barnegat Bay Sneak Box. I will tell you, the Tuckerton Seaport Boat Show is expected to go on this Saturday, rain or shine. Come on out. Special Armed Forces Day ceremony. A lot of great presentations on the Coast Guard and on some of these traditional boats of New Jersey. We have some seminars presented by the Fisherman magazine at 11:30. My father and I are going to be here, Hutch Sr. and Jr., talking about striped bass here in Great Bay. At 1 p.m., we've got a great Back Bay fluke seminar with Chris Albertson from Scotty's Bait and Tackle in Mystic Island. And at 2 p.m., kayak fishing with Frank Rosinski. He's over at West Creek Kayaks and in talking about some of the kayak fishing. Now, in between the raindrops that we've had, the black drumbite continues. Delaware Bay black drumbite is starting to take off, and we found some of those bigger fish moving a little farther north along the coast as well. Linda DeVoli, she checked in on Sunday with a 72-pounder in the Brigantine Surf on a Riptide rodder. And that was weighed in over at Riptide Bait and Tackle. So make sure you hold on to those rods. If you're putting them in the sand spikes, those big drum take them, you're back in the tackle shop looking for a new outfit. Black sea bass, in addition to the fluke start here in New Jersey on Saturday, black sea bass will kick into gear on Monday in New Jersey. 10 fish, 12.5 inches, and a 1-month season, because after June, in the middle of June, it's going to go to 2 fish through the summer. So make sure you take advantage of that now. If you haven't booked yourself a spot on one of the party boats or one of the charter boats, do it, because it's going to be gangbusters on Monday. Of course, Delaware is already open. You guys down there are already on the biscuits, 15 fish at 12.5 inches. We expect to have a lot to report in next week's video when we check in on the guys from the fluke grounds and the sea bass grounds. So make sure you check in with us here next week at thefisherman.com.
The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint and Fanatics of Ocean City, celebrating 25 years at the Jersey Shore. And also brought to you by Maxima Fishing Line.